Oh boy, have I got a treat for you lot today. If you enjoy fragrances with a nice bit of sweetness to them, stay tuned people, because I think you're going to appreciate these fragrances. What is good, YouTube? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikey Clone, and if you tuned in people, as always, thank you for doing so. Right, I've got 7 sweet, very nice, attractive fragrances to go through today. Like I said in the intro, if you like fragrances with a nice little bit of sweetness, not overly sweet, not cloyingly sweet, just got a nice dose of sweetness, I think you will appreciate one of these fragrances or some of these fragrances. First off, we're going to start with a fragrance that I got the other day. It's from the house of Eau de Parfum, and it is Milky Musk. I got that the other day. I've worn it about 3 times, and it deserves to be on this list. The note breakdown is very, very simple. It says sandalwood and musk, but this is a milky, creamy sandalwood. By any means, this is not lactonic. Sometimes fragrances can come across milky, lactonic. This is not that. This is a milky, creamy sandalwood with a nice bit of musk thrown in. Not heavy on the musk. The musk just sort of rounds the edges. And once this fragrance dries down, there's this woody nuance that is there. And it sort of comes across smelling like wood chippings. I know that might sound weird, but oh boy, man, does it smell good. This fragrance, it's cozy, it's comforting, it's snuggly, it's a little bit sweet, it's warm. This opens to me unisex, but once it sort of dries down ever so slightly, because of that sort of wood chippings vibe that it's got, it turns, or it leans a little bit more on the masculine side. But I'll still say this is a unisex fragrance, definitely, because it's creamy, like I say, comes across a little bit milky, got a nice little bit of sweetness in there. Right, the longevity on this, the read that I got from it, I was getting about 6 hours on skin, but it's close to the skin, this scent. It's not a screamer. Like the first 45 minutes, it's moderate projection. Then it does completely rein in, and it's just like a skin scent. And like I say, it just sort of wears like that for a good few hours. That's why I think it's a nice, snuggly fragrance. Smells great. It really does. And that is coming from the house of Eau de Parfum. Oh, and quickly, this is not ranked list, no particular order. They're all great fragrances. Hard Candy Elixir. If you want something that's going to last a long time, if you want something that's sweet, opens up fresh, give this fragrance a go. This is coming from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. And let me tell you something, this fragrance is a pusher. This stays on the skin for a very long time. You got lemon, mandarin, sweet orange, lavender and mint up top. When this opens up, you get this freshness which is coming from that lavender and mint. But then you've got that orange there, which comes across like a sweet candy orange. The vanilla, tonka, nutmeg, strawberry, honey and amber, which are in the mid. This fragrance has got a little bit of a creamy facet to it. And I think it's that vanilla and tonka sort of blended. It adds some more sweetness, but it sort of gives this fragrance an ever so slightly creamy effect. The nutmeg adds a little bit of spice. You've got sandalwood, patchouli, MDMA, no drugs. You've got synthetic tonka musk, ambergris, Thai oud. The oud is adding this depth, richness. To me, it gives this fragrance an ever so slight smoky effect, so to speak. Ever so slight, way in the back. The amber in this fragrance to me is just amping everything up. It's amping up the sweetness, it's amping up the warmth, it's amping up the richness, and it just gives this fragrance that extra oomph, so to speak. Long lasting, sweet, very smooth, rounded. There's nothing off-putting by this fragrance at all. Longevity, I've worn it a few times now. The longevity, I'm getting 9 hours on skin, on clothes the next day, 2 hours of solid projection. This thing is definitely worth a go. This is Hard Candy Elixir, and this is coming from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. Coming in next is a fragrance that I have seen hardly nobody talk about. I done a video a little while ago on this scent, and I classed it as a hidden gem, because to me it is, because nobody speaks about it. It is 21 from the house of Costume National. People, if you're watching this, try and get a sample of this. This fragrance should be hyped. I'm going to spray it and read you the notes. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous scent. You've got milk, saffron, orange blossom, bergamot up top. Then you've got royal jelly, cumin, alabanum, musk, black pepper and sage in the mid. And in the base, you ready? Amber, cashmere, sandalwood, musk, oud wood, labdanum, tonka, vanilla, vetiver, cedarwood and patchouli. Right, to me, this fragrance, it starts off, you get that bergamot and that orange blossom quickly up top. Literally for about 30 seconds. And then that sort of slowly dissipates. And then this is ambery, this is creamy, this is milky, this is a little bit spicy, it's woody, it's vanillic. This fragrance, you know when you hear someone say that's edible, this fragrance is that. Obviously, don't drink fragrances, you can't do that. But this just has that gourmandish nature to it where you smell it and it makes your mouth water. It just comes across smelling so good. It's got a nice dose of sweetness in there. This would be a great date night fragrance. It's unisex, so both genders can wear it. If you're going out and your partner's wearing this or you're rocking this, they're going to think that you smell absolutely fantastic. It just comes across. You do get a nice dose of sort of this ambery, balsamic nature, but it's like the fragrance isn't light, but everything's sort of tamed. So nothing is overpowering anything. All the notes work together. The cumin gives this fragrance an ever so slight bit of funk, sort of way in the back. When this first opens up, like I say, it opens bright, then it turns warm, sweet, vanillic, ambery, and that cumin is just adding an ever so slight little bit of funk underneath everything. But that sort of shows up, and then after about half hour, 45 minutes, that just calms right down. I know cumin can be overpowering. In this fragrance, it isn't. It just adds a little bit of depth. It adds something to the fragrance. This is worth sampling. This fragrance has been around for years. And like I say, I haven't seen hardly nobody speak about this fragrance. If you like sweet, gourmandish fragrances that are creamy, a little bit lactonic, get your paws on a sample of this fragrance. You will not be disappointed. I do not hype up fragrances for any reason. If a fragrance doesn't smell good, I'm going to tell you. If a fragrance smells great, I'm going to tell you. If a fragrance smells fantastic, I'm going to tell you. This is one of them. This is worth a sample. That is 21 from the house of Costume National. Soul Boutique from Moresque. This fragrance is something else. If you haven't tried any from this house, I've only tried a few, and the ones that I have tried have been bangers. This is one of them. Look at this. Let me just show you the bottle. That solid metal cap. I'm going to spray this, read you the notes, and I'm just going to tell you a little something about this fragrance. Lovely atomizer. You've got bergamot, cardamom, geranium, pink pepper, incense, vanilla, patchouli and amber. This isn't a very complex fragrance, but let me tell you something, it doesn't need to be. Straight out the gate, this fragrance smells sexy. A little bit sweet, a little bit ambery, a little bit spicy. You get this sexy cardamom note. The geranium is sort of adding this very light aromatic touch, but everything's warm. It's a little bit creamy. This, my friends, is the definition of a date night fragrance, in my opinion. Yes, you can wear it out. You can wear it out for a few drinks, but date night, this would be a killer fragrance. It just gives this alluring, sexy, seductive, sweet sort of vibe. That is the fragrance. I forgot to mention, in Soul Boutique, you get this lovely light, smoky incense nuance that runs through the life of the fragrance. It just rounds the fragrance. It's blended in there very well. Back to the video. Like I say, not overly complex, but it smells great. This is worth a sample. That is all I've got to say on this fragrance. Just sample it, people. Sweet, seductive, sexy, very, very nice smelling. That is Soul Boutique by Moresque. Coming in next is a boozy, seductive fragrance. It is Fan Your Flames from the house of Nishane. Gorgeous presentation, weighty, heavy metal caps. You've got the name of the house on top, and there is your bottle. This is a 100ml bottle. This has rum, coconut, Chinese cedar, oak moss, tobacco, tonka bean. This fragrance opens up rich, loud. Everything to my nose kind of happens all at once. But you get this boozy coconut accord. That tobacco is there, adding this sort of subtle bit of smokiness. The tonka bean adding a little bit of sweetness and giving it sort of a little bit of a ever so slightly creamy nature. On the dry down, it goes a little bit woody, goes ever so slightly earthy from the oak moss. Gorgeous, stunning fragrance. Sweet, rich. Like I say, at first, it's loud. After about an hour, the fragrance calms down. Like, I get a solid hour to hour and a half of projection with this. Then it reins in. But it don't become a skin scent till about the 6 hour mark, and then it stays as a skin scent for another few hours. But the way it just comes across, it stays boozy all the way through. You get that rum, that coconut. Like I say, the tobacco is adding this slight smokiness. Great fragrance. Sweet, not overly sweet. Definitely worth a sample. And that is Fan Your Flames from the house of Nishane. I mean, look at that presentation. Stunning. Armani code, absolute. If you've smelt this fragrance or you own this fragrance, you know that this is a sweet, spicy, a little bit creamy, a little bit powdery fragrance. You've got tonka bean, rum, apple, suede, nutmeg, carrot seed, orange blossom, woodsy notes, green mandarin. This opens very loud to me, to my nose. The apple is there with the mandarin, but you get a blast of that when it first opens up. But then they calm down quick and they're very subdued. Like I say, loud, and then they calm right down. In comes this sweetness, in comes this creamy facet. The carrot seed, I believe, is sort of giving it this powdery nature. This is heavy on the tonka bean, so it is a sweet fragrance. This is a great clubbing fragrance, going out fragrance, playful fragrance. If you're going out to a few bars, if you, like I say, if you're going to the club, this to me is on the masculine side of things. You do get some woodsy sort of nuances once the fragrance is dried down. That's when it turns a little bit powdery on my skin. Overall, this is a solid fragrance. Great longevity, solid projection. Definitely worth a try, and this will give you that sweet fix. And that is Armani code Absolute. And lastly, we're coming in with Mancera's Rose Vanilli. People, if you like a jammy, sweet rose, give this one a go. This smells fantastic. This is a sexy, jammy fragrance. You got lemon, Turkish delight with rose, cedarwood, intense vanilla and white musk. It is a little bit musky. You do definitely get vanillic touches, but this fragrance is all about the jammy rose. This is a Mancera. This lasts for ages on skin, days on clothes. This will be a great date night scent. This is unisex. Does lean a little bit more on the feminine side, but fellas can easily pull this off. Overall, this fragrance is sweet, jammy, vanillic, a little bit musky, slightly woody. Just a great scent. Right, people, that is 7 great sweet fragrances. Let me know which ones you would try out of this lot. Let me know which ones you have tried out of this lot. Let me know which ones you would have put in the list. Remember, people, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore, and I will definitely see you lot on the next one. Cheers.